We're at the Design Immersion program of the all-new Tata Sierra, and right now I'm joined by Mr. Martin Uhlarik, who's the Global Head of Design for Tata Motors.
Nice to see you again.
Martin, always a pleasure
Always.
to talk to you. So, this is an iconic nameplate which is making a comeback. So how excited are you to see this car on the road?
Yeah, really excited. Also a little relieved. We've been working on it for so long, trying to get it correct, trying to get it right. Big responsibility. But I think the team has done a terrific job.
Yeah. So, you already had a reference point in the old Sierra.
Yes.
So as the design team, what was the thought process while you were approaching to work on the new Sierra?
Yeah, the original Sierra was the inspiration of making an SUV, making a product that is iconic, that is memorable, captures the spirit of what the original one was. Everybody saw themselves when they saw the original Sierra. It was an avatar for your dreams.
Right.
So the new one has to be, in many ways, the new version of that, but with different technology, different, process, manufacturing, platform, dimensions, everything. This is a thoroughly modern, contemporary vehicle, but captures the spirit of the original one.
If I may ask you, what are your top 5 highlights in terms of the styling of the Sierra?
What I would say is first, it's recognizable. So you can tell that it's a Sierra without having the name. I can take these letters off it, I can take the Tata logo off it, and you'll know it's a Sierra. So that's the first achievement. The second one is it's a modern design.
Right.
It's completely contemporary and forward-looking. The third thing, it has a lot of technology. Considering it's very standard segment, it has a lot of aspiration from a technology point of view. The third thing is it has a huge attention to quality from a design point of view, because it's quite minimalistic. Your focus immediately, you can't hide from things that are wrong. So that puts more pressure on quality. And then finally, it's the experience. The Sierra is a kind of emotional product, an emotional name. So it's easy to design a very good product, but it can have no soul.
Right.
But creating a product that has a soul and has an emotion and speaks to people, that's another challenge. And I think actually, again, it's come out very well. I'm pretty sure it'll be not only recognizable as a Sierra, but it'll create that same response from people.
You talked about some of the elements in terms of the manufacturability in this new product.
Sure.
If you can talk to me about these new technologies which are enabling companies to manufacture these intricate designs and make them a reality on the roads.
Yeah, there's a couple of features that are quite unique. If we're looking here at the front, the end-to-end DRL, most companies will split this DRL into 3 sections.
Right.
When we actually gave the dimensions to the supplier about having a single piece, there's a lot of people going like, why and all that, but it's just like a kind of pursuit of perfection.
Right.
It's like once you have this in your head, everything is applied through that lens. The end-to-end screen, again, really class leading, in this segment. When I look at the seal on the window, I wanted it to look flush. But if you had a traditional window seal, it would look quite analog.
Right.
But it would also, you would lose all those offsets. So we challenged, to have the seal hidden in the door, and the window drops into that. I mean, again, things you see on luxury vehicles, but not in this segment.
Right.
So, challenging within your price point, within your targets to achieve that. The tailgate, the rear hatch is a single piece, clamshell tailgate. Right. Again, editing out all the lines, unnecessary things, get rid of all the unnecessary lines, and challenging. I think, when you're designing a product, whether it's a Sierra or anything, you need to be pushing, push. And, it can be done on many fronts.
Right. So have you really pushed your suppliers towards achieving
We pushed ourselves.
Right.
In design, we pushed ourselves as a company. We pushed ourselves from our plant manufacturing. We pushed our suppliers. It's like sports. If you're a professional athlete, you need to fight for every percentile, and it's all practice, push. and the difference is in the milliseconds or millimeters.
Wonderfully put. What design trends do you see emerging over the next half a decade's time going forward in the auto industry?
What I would say is the level of design and the level of products being offered is very high. It's hard to find a bad product nowadays. And as design gets universal, it becomes a commodity. Like good design, if everybody's offering it, it's no longer a USP.
Right.
So what's the next thing you can do? Well, I think the next thing is emotion.
Okay.
It has to have a connection. So how do you do that? Here we're mining nostalgia a little bit, and we're telling a story that people have already heard before. But an emotional connection with the customer is really, I think, the future frontier that'll separate success and failure.
Right. If you could talk to me about the interior, what was the brief to the CMF team working on the interior of the new Sierra?
Yeah, what we wanted was, we talk about a living room. Even in our 2020 concept, we had this sort of lounge living room, very abstract, but
Right.
still. And then in the 2023, we took it farther, and it was always thing. But remember, this is an SUV, still, first and foremost. So it has to have a competence capability,
Okay.
but a level of comfort and reassurance inside, that it's a nice space. It feels bigger physically than it is. And it has all the amenities, but I also didn't want it to be claustrophobic. So I really wanted it to feel open and airy, whether it's the sections of the door, the sections of the instrument panel, but a lot of glass.
Right.
I think the glass makes it modern.
Right, right. And what about the HMI? Because we're seeing now these days, a lot of these physical buttons being replaced by a touch panel and touch controls.
Yeah, I think you'll see a hybrid. Obviously, a lot of technology, our phones and a lot of consumer products are, a touch interface. But with a vehicle, especially an ICE vehicle, I think there's an appetite for certain switches, certain functions to be analog.
Right.
And at the same time, I think it just makes sense functionally from a safety point of view.
Right.
If I'm driving, I shouldn't be taking my eyes off the road to, am I touching the right area of the screen and all that? Some things need to be, like a dial. Some things need to be haptic,
Right.
with real feedback.
Right.
So I think you're going to see a hybrid of this going forward.
Right. And on lighting, Martin, so, lighting today is more aesthetic rather than just function.
Yes.
So, your thoughts on it. Where do you see lighting going forward in the industry?
Well, I remember a couple of years ago when I started at Tata Motors, I said, we're going to get rid of chrome.
Okay.
And people were like, what, really? The chrome communicates, segment and premiumness and all
Right.
that. Lighting is the new chrome.
Okay.
Lighting is the signature. It's the brand signature. It can be recognizable. You should be able to see the vehicle at night and immediately know, oh, that's a Sierra in front of me or behind me, or any product or brand for that matter.
Right. Lastly, Martin, your favorite color out of the Sierra color portfolio?
Well, I have a sort of personal investment in this one, the yellow one.
Okay.
We're offering it in a big palette of colors, quite universal. I think the car looks brilliant in all of them. But the yellow one, I think, is really unique. First of all, I think it communicates SUV-ness.
Right.
I think it has a spirit of adventure, which I see with, adventure brands, outdoor gear. It's like an accent color. There's a certain functionality that comes with that. And at the same time, when we were developing this, I thought about myself. Where was I in 1991? Well, I was in university, in college, and I had a Sony Sports Walkman.
Okay.
And, it's a Walkman that you can, it's waterproof. So it has this feeling of like outdoorsy adventure, can go anywhere. That's kind of the spirit of what the Sierra was,
Yes.
Go anywhere. Anything is possible. And again, music as a great unifier, I use music as fuel, when I'm designing, it motivates me, inspires me, and so forth. And the Walkman, the Sony Walkman, is actually very graphical, black and yellow, so a lot of contrast. So I suggested it, and we painted the model in the India studio yellow, and everybody said like, wow, that looks really cool. I mean, it's simple as that.
Right.
And then, and it just snowballed from there. And then obviously we presented it to management, marketing saw it, and so forth.
Right.
So it's one of the colors we offer, but I think it fits the personality of the car very well.
Right, right. Just one more thing on the role of the India studio in the overall
Yes.
designing of the new Sierra. I mean, was it really driven by the India studio or the
Well, it was
studios
like a
in-
global competition at the beginning, and instigated it in terms of like a brief. But when we got to the final, like getting the design done, coming up with the idea and the design is the inspiration. But I always say design is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration, and industrializing a vision as close to the original idea is the real challenge. So we gave it to the India studio because, again, going back to the beginning of our conversation, this is an emotional product. It's an iconic product. And who better to know what this represents, what it stands for, than our India design team? For me, this is an abstract nameplate. I can educate myself as much as I want. I can speak with the fan clubs, the look on the forums of the original car. I can appreciate the original car, but I didn't experience it. I don't know what it means really from an emotional point of view. I think they were best suited to deliver that vision. And I think it's very important that they delivered it. And I think the result speaks for itself.
Absolutely. On that note, Martin, wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Pleasure.